I have daily driven almost every single Pixel since the beginning. I love these devices for everyday Android development, especially the Pixel 3, because it's a good low spec phone and it's cheap too. Like, I picked this one up for $50. Low spec phones are ideal for software development. They stay hooked up to your machine every single day, all day, every day, and you don't really mind if they get broken or lost or damaged. But the best part about a low-end phone is that it reveals application jank and performance issues as you cycle through the app that you're working on. Now, the Pixel line has never claimed to be the most premium device. Instead, Pixels have always tried to remain as competitive as possible while also saving you a few $100. Now, the Pixel 6 is all of these things. It doesn't claim to be a premium device. So why am I returning it? Hey guys, welcome back to DevTech. My name is Bob. I'm a full stack engineer with a specialization in mobile games and enterprise mobile solutions. You know, the best part about working in person with a bunch of mobile engineers are the countless arguments you will get into over which device is best. You might think that because I've owned every single Pixel along the way and used them for daily driving, that I wouldn't have room for, say, a Samsung device or an Apple device, and that is very much not the case. Honestly, some of the most fun I have is setting up a device from scratch. No account transfer for me, setting up fresh every single time. Now, do my friends think I'm a psychopath for setting up a device from scratch each and every time? Joke's on you. I don't have any friends. And my favorite all-time dev machine right now is the new M1 Max MacBook Pro. Apple has done just an excellent job building hardware and an operating system that is just a pleasure to develop on. Microsoft just always seems to have me jumping through hoops to build and run shady software that I find on GitHub. I still can't figure out why I can't compile Log4j. The point is, though, Pixels do hold a strong place in my heart. I do let other manufacturers into that special place to ultimately hurt me deeply. And that is what the Pixel 6 has done to me this past month. You have hurt me. I run a team with a few mobile engineers, some great people that I absolutely enjoy working with. And one thing that's important to me is that they are able to contact me. And this is really where Android shines. Android has this incredible work mode. It lets you turn on your work apps while you're working and turn them off when you're not, because let's admit it, if we don't turn them off physically, we will always be connected to work, which is just not ideal, especially if you're trying to achieve a work-life balance. Now, the one huge thing that the Android operating system has going for it is its work mode. Ideally, when you are done working at the end of the day, you turn off work, remove that part from your mind. That way you can achieve some semblance of work-life balance. Well, that's what Android does. It lets you actually turn off all of your work apps and turn them back on later. So that way you can actually disconnect. So in order to be my daily driver, there are 5 points as a smartphone that you have to do pretty good at in order to remain in my pocket. And the first point that absolutely needs to be good is the work mode. I prefer Android's work mode over Apple's. Apple doesn't really seem to have invested in that work-life balance yet, but Google has added significant investment in this area. There's a great way to control your work apps and disconnect from them. So, good job, Pixel 6. Point number 2, the camera better be solid. Like Pixel perfect. Google's cameras have always been fantastic. And I actually really prefer still using Google Photos for managing all my photos, even though it is no longer free. We have family photos that update on devices across the house, and Google's integration with Google Photos is just fantastic. You select the faces of the family and friends that you want to automatically aggregate in, and it just pulls it in. Even the inappropriate ones. And I will say, those are the ones that actually start conversations, so they're definitely worth throwing out there in whatever state they may be in. And then point number 3 is an all-day battery. The Pixel 6 does a great job here. Now, it's not the 2-day battery that you can get out of the iPhone 13 Pro, but it is definitely an all-day battery, and that's really all I need. Point number 4, USB-C. Every device I own is USB-C. I still don't know why the iPhone 13 has the lightning port. I find that extremely exhausting. USB-C is the spec for everything moving forward. Apple, please get in line. And last but not least, we didn't think this would have to be a qualifier anymore, but you have to be easy to access. The smartphone has to be easy to unlock. And unfortunately, that is where the Pixel 6 falls completely short. The behind-screen fingerprint reader is entirely unusable. I really just don't want to waste time unlocking my device since I do that dozens of times every single day. The Pixel 6 is actually the worst Pixel in the entire line of Pixels when it comes to unlocking. The face unlock, for instance, in the Pixel 4 was exceptional. I don't actually consider the Pixel 4 to be a failure by any means. I would say that it probably needed a larger battery in order to support the array of sensors that it had behind the screen, but other than that, really just an exceptional device. And you look at all the other Pixels. Fingerprint reader on the rear, again, never a single issue. First and foremost, putting the fingerprint reader behind the screen does not actually make it easier to find. The fingerprint divot on the rear of the old Pixels, significantly easier to find. The old readers were even a place for you to just naturally rest your finger. Lastly, and this is not a magic trick, the fingerprint reader on the back of the Pixel device allowed for you to pull down the notification shade. Literally, you could just do this swiping motion and the very powerful notification system on Android would come down. And if you've only ever used Apple devices and have not experienced the notification drawer on Android, I highly suggest you give it a shot, because if you're at all task-oriented like me, it's a great place to put everything. All of your notifications that you can swipe away whenever you get done working on a task, reminders, messages, follow-up items, all those kinds of things. I just never really felt like I got that workflow on Apple devices, whereas on Android I feel like it's completely perfect. So you would think that after all those iterations, the Pixel 6 would have a great, outstanding even, unlocking system. The Pixel 6 has a strobe light behind the screen, which I think would be valuable if you were stranded on a desert island. Or maybe the Pixel team is just playing a lot of Rainbow Six and really likes flashbang. I particularly love being flashed in the eyes. Honestly, what I think happened is the idea of putting a behind-screen reader was set in place from the beginning of the design of the phone, and then they got to a place in the manufacturing process or towards the end of the project when all this spec was already defined, and found themselves with a problem. And the solution to that problem was to utilize the OLED and illuminate that fingerprint. And the reason why I think a critical error happened during the end of the design of this phone is I just don't think anyone would agree to this at the beginning, right? When they're sitting down and etching out what this next iteration is going to look like. So yeah, that's the 5 things that I look for in an everyday device when carrying. And unfortunately, this device just completely falls short in the accessibility and usability department. I have to spend at least 3 attempts to unlock the device every single time, and I just found that after doing that dozens and dozens of times every single day, that it's just not going to hold up for many years of use for myself. I do dishes every night after I cook, and soggy fingerprint doesn't work on this device. You know what is still easy to find though, thankfully? That like button below the video. Let me know in the comments if you tried the Pixel 6 and had better luck than me. If you think this review of the 6 was valuable, subscribe. There's going to be more hardware reviews here in the future. And like always, I super appreciate your time. Thanks.